This week on Maker Update, Speak, Friend, and Enter, a great big project about one of the smallest city-states, a robot to detect robots, and casting your own RC tires. Hello and welcome back to Maker Update, our weekly showcase of our favorite Maker projects, tips, and tools from across the internet, right here at your fingertips. I'm Tyler Weingartner, and I hope you're all doing great. We have an awesome show for you this week, so let's get going with the project of the week. There's nothing cooler than having a secret door in your house. Then again, it's also pretty cool when that door only opens when you say a secret word.
Melon.
And it's the best when that ordinary looking door can light up with a secret inscription. So what about a door that combines all three? Well, that's when you call in Relics workshop, who's building this secret door to his workshop from walnut that lights up like the entrance to the Mines of Moria from The Lord of the Rings. As a project video, this one really seems to have it all: blacksmithing, woodworking, electronics, code, and a deep love for the fantasy worlds that inspire us to make incredible things. The door itself is made from walnut boards. But to make the hidden inscription illuminate, he's encapsulating an array of COB LED strip lighting. The pattern is created by a mask of black vinyl, which is permanently stabilized in epoxy resin. But to make sure that the door looks like plain wood until the illusion is revealed, he needs to sand the wood down to a very thin layer, in order to allow the LED lighting to shine through but look like an ordinary door otherwise. This is a painstaking process of planing, sanding, and getting just close enough to the margin before you blow through it. But when you see the final result, you just can't say the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And the attention to detail really deserves some special mention here. From the use of citric acid to strip the zinc from the bolts, and reforging the heads from hexes to squares, and forging custom nuts for the other side. And if for some reason you ever need to make a door squeak more instead of less, you can apply rosin to the hinge pins to get that spooky creak. The brains behind the voice interaction is a Raspberry Pi Pico 2. To keep the door latched, he's using a strong electromagnetic lock and some hinge springs so it will open automatically. To recognize the unlock word, he's using the Wonder Echo voice module, which is an offline solution for recognizing wake and keywords. And you get to see him experimenting with it, using similar sounding phrases for the Elvish word for friend, speaking at different distances and volumes. It's good stuff.
Watermelon. Melancholy. Melody. Melon.
I am here. And there's even considerations for how something like this will live in your life. Because the door latch is magnetic, it means he doesn't always need to yell at his door to open it, or wait until sundown before the word can be recognized. When he just needs to get through the door, he can. But when he wants to make a show of it, he can do that too. It's a really fun video and a satisfying project, and he shares all of his working files for it on his Patreon. More projects. Through the Maker subreddit, I learned about this interactive light sculpture of the map of Monaco made by Terence Grover. If you've ever wanted a physical representation of a motion graphics video that you can see with your own eyes, this is the project for you. This is a metal grid representing the general layout of Monaco, with a grid of square hole cutouts where most of the landmass is. Occupying those cutouts are 179 pieces of cast epoxy resin, each cut to length to represent the geographical elevation and specifically sanded to best diffuse the light from below. Specifically, these rods are called PMMA plastic that you can purchase pre-cast, free of any imperfections that you might get from making them on your own. Controlling the lighting directly is a pair of Adafruit RP2040 Scorpio boards, directed by a Raspberry Pi 5 to control the interactions and provide some post-processing for the lighting, like blurring. Regardless of whether you have any affinity for Monaco, the final result of this video is startlingly beautiful, and it seems like something you could replicate for just about any region. Brenpoly has a project where they're making a real-life version of the Odradek robot from Death Stranding. But instead of detecting ghostly adversaries, this one will detect the specific Bluetooth signatures of the AI elements living in camera-enabled smart glasses. Just from the mechanical considerations, this one is a tough row to hoe. The robot lives at the end of a multi-linkage armature mounted to the wearer's shoulder. But the centerpiece is this multi-part actuation that needs to spin on the center of the axis and then flex the vanes to alert the wearer to the threat of AI glasses. Electrically, this is handled through a slip ring connection. This project is a lot of small details coming together, but once you see everything working in concert, the payoff is really clear. AI glasses can be a social menace, and maybe you don't need an elaborate robot to help you detect them, but how cool is it that somebody actually made a bot to help you avoid them, and look pretty cool while you're doing it. Now for a few tips and tools from Maker's Muse, we have a guide on how to decide on the right infill pattern to use for your 3D print. Angus has been min-maxing on this concept for a while, mostly maxing, especially in his efforts to make strong weapons for his 3D printed combat robots. But there's times when lightness prevails too. His guide will help you decide which infill pattern will give you the best strength versus material use, and which ones to consider purely for aesthetic reasons. From Ben Makes Everything, we have this DIY open source power bank. Given the range of options out there for capacity and the danger of working with lithium batteries, it can be a little hard to imagine why you'd want to develop your own power bank in the first place. But for Ben's case, he wanted a power output with selectable voltage. Certainly niche, but he exposes every circuit design choice he made to arrive at this final conclusion. So even if his power bank isn't useful to you, his circuit design might be. And from the appropriately named RC Tire Lab, we have a guide on how to cast your own RC tires at home using 3D printed molds. While his design gives you the ideal for creating the exterior and interior shape, I love this tip of using the slicer itself to help you learn the exact volume of silicone you'll need to cast the tire. He also shares files to print the tire directly in TPU, and is also planning on developing different tire densities for future projects. Maybe keep this channel bookmarked if you've got a lot of RC car projects in the works. For this week's DigiKey Spotlight, we've got a bit of a throwback episode from the TomorrowLab team and Adafruit, building a project using the Adafruit Clue. The Adafruit Clue is a sort of all-in-one microcontroller featuring a large display, 2 push buttons, a 9 degree of freedom IMU, a hardware speaker, and a Stemma QT connector, all in the same popular form factor as the microbit. The team at TomorrowLab are taking the Clue educational kit to make it into a virtual companion, a puppy dog with an animated face, wagging tail, and plenty of interactions depending on the environmental sensors. Fun stuff. All right, and that is going to do it for this week's show. As always, you can get more info about every single one of these projects by checking out the links down in the description. While you're there, leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up, and hit subscribe so you won't miss the next one. Donald and I are going to be at Open Sauce this weekend, so if you're there and you see us, make sure to say hello. Huge thanks as always to DigiKey for making this show possible and to you for watching. Take care. We'll see you soon.